Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Yankee Cowboy Podcast. And I hate to say this, and enjoying the greatness that is this country of the great United States of America. I waited a long time to record this episode, and I really have. And today's topic is a fun topic. It is literally the celebration of our new president, Donald J. Trump, the 47th elected president of these great United States. And today's topic really isn't so much of a analysis or a debate or a boo-hoo or a rant. It might be a rant, but it's a I told you so. Legitimately, if you go through the catalog of this podcast, and I mean this with all respects in the world to the listenership, you will hear me say many times and never counted out Donald Trump to win the presidency. Never. All through the election cycle, I kind of kept my mouth a little bit shut on the politics side of this podcast, because as much as I really enjoy the cheap heat, as I call it, and the cheap in the being a heel when it comes to being hated and doing all those great things, one thing that is utmost paramount to me is putting out quality content that not only gets the conversation started, but when it comes push comes to shove, it's meaningful and it's collaborative, and it's really just strikes at the core of what the Yankee Cowboy Podcast is. And that is my voice of challenging the status quo and making people and challenging their thoughts, not in a negative or a disrespectful manner, but an intelligent manner, because most of the time in this country, people of all walks of life go through the same challenges. And I say this with all respects in the world. You put on your pants the same way. Doesn't matter where you're from or who you are, or what you come from, one leg at a time. And you put your shoes on one shoe at a time. That being said, when you look at the seriousness that the election had, the collective electorate said, nope, not to Kamala Harris. We are not having this nonsense charade long enough. I knew, and this is going back into November and going in October, and the RNC and the DNC and all the tragic events that happened with Donald Trump and two assassination attempts. One thing that really stuck out to me on the campaign trail was he was all policy, a lot of fun, a lot of banter, a lot of the YMCA. The shimmy has become a fucking household name, excuse my language, but it really has. It has become a seriousness of him having fun. You're gonna know what the president thinks about things, whether or not you like it or not. That's what we're seeing now with the presidency, the 47th presidency. Trump will go out there and he'll answer questions. I mean, listen, we all have press secretaries, and they do, but he is his own best man when it comes to putting out a message. He really is. And it's no disrespect for Caroline Leavitt. Caroline Leavitt's a great operative, great person. Anyone that's ever had an opportunity to listen to her speak, she's, I would say, different in delivery than Kayleigh McEnany and Sarah Huckabee Sanders, but it's different. It's intelligent. It's the ability to joust with the media and actually have fun, but at the same time handle the pressure that goes with the office in a really collective manner. And we see that again, too, with a lot of the appointments and the people that are with him now. Stephen Miller, his chief of staff, who won him the election. I'll say that. But I think it was a collective effort. Trump, listen, I think if you go back into the 2020 campaign, Trump made a very calculated misstep with who he put there as the head of the campaign. I didn't like who the lack of attorneys in states and things like that. RNC was very laxed in their approach in the 2020 election. They were behind the eight ball when it came to the DNC in that regard. And that's just the reality of what happened. I'm not trying to be an election denier, but you know, just like in 2000, there was lawyers on the ground. There wasn't as many lawyers in the 2020 election as there was 2024. You saw a change in the RNC that included Laura Trump really taking really a push in the right direction. You also see Mr. James, I believe it was Scott Pressler, who take on a really big role of getting the outreach vote of the Amish community, and really saw that greatness in Pennsylvania. And he helped secure the victory of Pennsylvania for Donald Trump in the 2024 election. There is no question. Anyone that's watched, anyone that has two sets of eye or a set of eyes and can read, knew what Scott Pressler was doing. He was a very gifted person when it came to the outreach and the efforts and the volunteers and the people, the effort, the operation to get those people really just getting registered to vote, and it's important. Now, then you saw the appointments of the nominations. Pete had said to Pete, I don't give a shit what anyone says. He's a great dude. It is by far one of the greatest things I've ever seen is that some of these people, you got Kristi Noem, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., which once he gets nominated, once he gets confirmed, which I believe is going to happen here in the coming weeks, is going to be monumental for the health of the United States, the kids and everybody that's there. And I think legitimately we as Americans have to say thank you to RFK for doing a couple things. One is stepping aside instead of taking over cannibalizing the vote. And because what would have happened, which a lot of people don't realize this, was we would have a third party take out, 5 to 10% of the electorate on the voting side. And, either candidate was going to lose votes, right? People didn't want to vote for Kamala. People didn't want to vote for Trump. But the problem was that RFK could not get on the ballot in certain states. So he was really running into a difficult crisis. And I think him choosing to support Trump was vital in Trump's success and the bipartisanship and across the aisle and the outreach. Also, I truly believe that Donald Trump doing Joe Rogan, which I listened, I was working my overnight job and I listened to that podcast live when it came out. And it was by far one of 3 hours of just, you're getting to know that man sitting in the booth right there. You're getting to know him. The good, the bad, and the indifferent. And of course, Joe Rogan tried to get him on topic a couple times. And of course, they call it the weave. And there's a lot of good banter that went with it. And I truly mean that, in that Trump going on Rogan and going on these podcasts truly helped him win, because they had an opportunity to listen to him. People that consume podcasts just like this one or any other, they enjoy media for what it is, right? They enjoy the hosts, they enjoy the show, they enjoy this, or they enjoy some aspect of it, and they listen to the guests that are on. And the one thing is, Trump being on Joe Rogan, and then JD Vance being on Rogan, and then just the outpour of support that he received. It was fun, but the work's not done. We've had some serious issues come across on Inauguration Day. Couple things, starters. Who the hell forecast it was going to be -6 degrees outside on Inauguration Day? Things happen. The weather changes. I think Trump did the right thing by doing it inside, because no one wanted to be out in that damn cold. Not even people that live in the Northeast. They hated that shit. But you have a really key thing that I really want to get into is, unfortunately, we had the accidents in D.C. and in Philadelphia in the last 2 weeks, the plane crash there. And I think Trump's going to have to root out a lot of the problems in these governmental agencies and get to the core problems of short staffing and getting good people doing the right things. And that's going to be a problem. Whenever that report comes out of that plane crash in D.C., it's going to be instrumental to making lasting change in this country. And unfortunately, it took the loss of 60 plus people to get to the bottom of this. But, what we're going to see now is And it really, what hasn't been reported yet, and it's kind of sad, is that who was on the controls of that night, who was who was on the controls that night, and then who was, um, you know, ultimately who made the decision and who made the mistake. Um, I think problematically, the Philadelphia Pennsylvania accident, that is going to be a catastrophic mechanical failure. I believe, because that he was coming in way too damn fast. It's holy crap! I don't even think he knew what was going on at that point. Um, could have been a lot. That's a great catastrophic mechanical failure. And then the Washington D.C. I truly don't believe. I truly believe that the CRJ pilot didn't even know the helicopter was there, and he was coming in on final approach like all these guys do. They're watching. They're really, if he saw him at his peripheral or knew that he was there, he would have went around like the aborted landing that happened from the flight from Hartford a few days sooner. So unfortunately, it took a loss of 60 plus lives to get down to the core root of the problem. That is that there is a serious problem of quality help in the federal government. One thing that Trump has done that's a really big positive push is a couple things. Trying to save money, with Doge, and I think he offered buyouts for a lot of employees, and he did a return to work, return to the office thing incentive, and he offered that takeout 1%. What now 20,000 people that are on the federal workforce have actually taken him up on the buyout. So about 20,000 employees, and so that's going to be interesting. Um, how do we replace those 20,000? How do we put good candidates in positions that need to be in positions that make a positive impact to the government? Um, how do we, as Americans, handle the issue that is a huge problem right now? And that is, we still have energy prices that are pretty high now. They've gone up. They're close to $3 a gallon now, between 2.50 and $3 a gallon. Gas has pretty much done a roller coaster. So we really need to get energy prices controlled before the next step of the presidency, which is, you know, we can get all the foreign policy stuff done between, Trump will try, he levied tariffs or announced tariffs on China on China, um, Mexico and Canada. And just recently, as of this morning, late last night, Canada announced that they were going to work with us, and he pulled those back. And then Mexico announced earlier that day, yesterday on Monday, the second or the third, that they were going to put troops on the border and help with the fentanyl crisis. So I think Trump is acting in the right direction. I think we as Americans get all hysterical about the wrong things. I think the end result is going to be positive. It's not going to be in a negative manner. But one thing that really, really is important is to see the lasting benefits of these negotiations. Okay, can we handle the fentanyl crisis? Can we handle the deportation? Which, by the way, the deportations, the hysterics behind them are just unfounded, in my opinion. What they're working on right now is criminals. We're not talking about families and all this other stuff. We're talking about the hardest criminals first, and then you work your way through. Um, it truly is a sadness that is reigning true to a lot of us, is that this process could be fixed in the legislative process with some kind of amnesty or some kind of arrangement for people that are here, and they have to be qualified with merit, which I think Trump is trying to work through. And that's going to be a legislative agenda piece that's going to be his lasting legacy. If he can seriously get amnesty slash visa slash illegal immigrants, merit-based immigration situated, it's going to be a lasting legacy. But it's a lot. It's a lot. And then you have different things that are going on. So it's definitely different, guys. And I think we as Americans have to take a step back and kind of go, okay, what's next? And right now, as of this morning, if you look, I mean this sincerely, um, RFK has been approved to advance to the lead uh, to the floor, the House, to the Senate floor for vote, and then you just have certain things. So everybody has different animals right now. The big thing right now is a budget. We got to get that budget situated, and the House Freedom Caucus. I really mean by this. I think they're going to get the horns here by Donald Trump if they don't act the way he wants them to act. So it's gonna be a lot, guys, and I think we're gonna have to. I'm gonna go through this week by week and try to talk about some commentary that's gonna be meaningful for everybody. This is gonna be a fun presidency for the next 4 years. So I appreciate everyone joining me. Sorry for the 3 week absence here. I had a lot going on, but I hope everyone had a great week, and hopefully everyone enjoys the game on Sunday. It's Super Bowl Sunday week. Thank you.